Welcome, everybody. This is our third and final session of our energy healing series, which is part of our COVID and Cancer ongoing series. And we are thrilled that we have the wonderful Emma Ehrenzeller here with us. For those of you who attended the last two sessions, they were interesting and engaging and interactive and helpful. And I think we have a really, really interesting session in store for us today. As a reminder, this session is being recorded, and the last two sessions also were recorded. Today's session will be on breathwork. Session number 1 was on chakras. Session number 2 was, remind me what session 2 was. I'm mixing
past
up.
Lives.
So cool. It was on past lives and past life regression. And again, today's breathwork. So we really have covered quite a lot of interesting topics. And I'm going to just turn it over to Emma and let her do her thing. And I have to say that I think that I enjoy this as much, if not more, as all of you. It's really exciting to learn something new and something that I really didn't know a lot about. So thank you for letting me be a participant also.
Well, thank you for all of your kind words. As always, Rachel, I love doing these, and I'm so sad this is our last session, but I'm really excited to talk with you guys about breathwork today and really how powerful of a tool it can be to calm your mind, body, spirit, all things. So can everyone see my screen okay? Can you guys see the presentation?
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic. All righty. Well, today we are going to be covering some of the spirituality and the science behind breathwork. We're going to be talking about different breathing techniques you can use for different situations. Today, we're really going to focus on simple, easy to use breathing techniques, but just know I'll reference a few throughout the presentation if you really want to develop this as a practice that you can explore on your own time. And just how to incorporate breathwork into your day-to-day life, talking all things breathwork. Alrighty, and if this is your first time at one of our sessions, hello, my name is Emma Ehrenzeller. I am a certified life coach and certified hypnotist, and I am extremely passionate about the mind-body connection. I love learning about all the ways that neuroscience and psychology overlap with personal development, spirituality, energy work, because in that overlap is where we can find so many amazing tangible tools that you can use in your day-to-day life to bring in more emotional wellness, a deeper sense of calm, so many gorgeous, beautiful things that help us feel more human and more happy. So it's a little bit about me. Let's go ahead and dive into today. So we're going to start today a little bit differently. Because we're talking all about breath work, I want us to go ahead and start by slowing our breath. So we're just going to take about 2 to 3 minutes, tap into the breath. So to get us started, just go ahead and get comfortable. If you'd like, you can place a hand on your heart, maybe a hand on your stomach to just feel your chest and your stomach as you breathe. When you're ready, you can go ahead and just close your eyes. Good. As you just begin to get comfortable here in this space, I want you to start by just noticing your breath. Good. How long do you take for an inhale? How long is your exhale? I wonder if on the next breath, you can just take a bit deeper of an inhale. Good, and an even longer and slower exhale. Good. And on the next breath, maybe you just notice the feeling of your heartbeat. As you slow your breathing, feeling more and more relaxed. Good. Maybe on the next breath, you feel your stomach expand as you inhale and just deflate as you exhale, almost like a balloon, expanding, contracting. Good. I wonder to you, if relaxation was a color, what color that would be. Is it green? Is it a radiant gold? Maybe a calming soft pink? On your next inhale, I'd like you to imagine yourself inhaling that color, inhaling that peacefulness, seeing it fill your lungs, your stomach. Just exhaling, letting it spread through your body, releasing any tension you might be holding. Good. And again, inhaling that sense of peacefulness, that radiant color, and exhaling, allowing the relaxation to spread through your body, feeling totally at peace and calm. Just take a few more breaths here, noticing how your breathing has slowed, noticing what you feel in your body. Good. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and return your breathing to normal and open your eyes. Awesome. So we normally start by just diving right into all the content, all the talking, all the lecturing, whatever it may be. But today, because breathwork is such a powerful but simple tool, I really wanted to start us there, to keep it simple. Let's go ahead and start talking about what is breathwork, right? I feel like it's a term thrown around so much that it almost becomes like, well, okay, well, is it just breathing? What is it, right? So breathwork is a pretty big umbrella term that refers to any time you take conscious control of your breathing for mental, emotional, physical, or spiritual effects. Now, we all just did some breath work together, right? But I would love to know, when are some other times in your life that you have taken control of your breathing or slowed your breath to feel more relaxed, at peace, anything like that? You can share in the chat, or you can take yourself off mute and share with the group. Okay. So Susan, were you about to say something?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I see that Sherry wrote something in the chat.
Yeah. So Sherry shared, when hysterically crying in my shrink's office. Yeah. When we're really overwhelmed, often talk about the one way that all of us have done breath work is when we've been overwhelmed, stressed, emotional, crying, and someone says, hey, take a deep breath, it's going to be okay, right? That moment, that's a practice of breath work. Yeah, Sherry's saying to calm my daughter when she's hysterically crying. Yeah, she's got a good supportive mama reminding her to slow that breathing, right? Any other thoughts? Anyone's taken a yoga class, right? A lot of times in yoga, they're asking you to, hey, slow your breathing or match your breathing with the movements. Another one, I know some people in this group like Reiki as well. A lot of times a Reiki session will start out with, let's slow the breathing, right? Let's sometimes send your breath to different parts of your body, right? This is really widespread tool that can be used for so much and in so many different scenarios. And Sherry also said, in bed, trying to go to sleep. Yep. Janet said,
I also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all. Go ahead.
No, I use it because, of this eye condition. My brain and my eyes have to kind of catch up to each other. And sometimes my brain is going faster than my eyes can physically do. So I have to just shut my eyes. And it's very helpful if I do some deep breathing to sort of slow everything down.
Right, exactly. Tap back into a sense of calm, give you something to focus on, especially if you're feeling some pain, some overwhelm, whatever that may be. So yeah, thank you for sharing, and thank you for all of those in the chat as well. So much we can use breathwork for. So let's start by talking about some of the spiritual ties to breathwork. So what I found most fascinating when doing the research for this session is that breath work and just the significance of breath is talked about in nearly every ancient tradition, religion, spiritual practice, whatever it may be. And more specifically, the concept of spirit and soul and breath are often merged, or they're synonymous. They use the exact same word. So you have here a list of different words on the right and how they relate: breath, spirit, soul, whatever it may be. So, in the Old and the New Testament, you see breath, wind, spirit, soul. These are all using the same word, right? In ancient Chinese traditions, they have a word hun for air soul, and they also have something called the earth soul. right? Even in Islamic traditions, we see the word breath and angelic beings being the same. Buddhism connecting mindfulness and breath. And I just like to start off here because I think it's a very humbling reminder that breath is more than just, the air we breathe in and out through each and every day. Breath can really be a gateway to something deeper, to a deeper connection with ourselves, with the greater life around us, whatever your own individual spiritual beliefs may be. Breath is often a gateway into that. And that's really going to be a theme that you see time and time again throughout this workshop today. And just something really beautiful to be thinking about and going forward with. So let's talk about a few of these traditions in particular. So the first one here is pranayama. This is essentially in yoga, one of the 8 limbs of yoga that is basically breath work. Okay. So prana means life force, vital life force. This might sound familiar from our chakras session, if you remember. It's a lot of that conversation about like the vital life force, right? And yama means control, gaining control of. So together, pranayama is about controlling the life force. And this is done through breath, right? Like we were talking about earlier, as you go through a yoga class, you're doing all the different asanas, the movements, the poses. If you have a good yoga teacher, they will be reminding you to match that with your breath. This is actually what I struggle the most with in yoga. I'm like, I can do all the movements. I can never match my breathing, but when I do, I feel so much better. So there are plenty of different types of specific breathwork techniques within pranayama, within yoga. What you see in this photo here is alternate nostril breathing, where they alternate the nostrils they breathe in and out of. And some of these techniques can get quite intense. We're not going to be doing any of them today, but like I had mentioned in a past session, you're going to have a summary sheet of everything from these past 3 sessions. And I include a specific pranayama technique in a YouTube video to learn how to do it if you want to go deeper with some of these techniques. So that's pranayama. Next one is the Tummo or inner fire meditation. Now, this one's really interesting. It actually dates back to 8th century Tibetan Buddhist monk texts, right? And they're obviously living in a colder climate in Tibet, in the snowy mountainous areas. And this was developed as a way to increase their body temperature. Yes, to get into this sense of peace, of calm, but also to gain a sense of control over their bodies when they were in difficult landscapes and weather. So in this type of meditation, it actually combines visualization, breath work, and muscle tensing. So they visualize almost like a fire burning in their belly. And then with each breath, they imagine that getting sent out to different parts of their body. They use a very specific type of breathing, pattern of breathing that would take too long for us to do together today. But I like to include this one because they've done studies on it since, the 8th century. They've done studies on it in recent years. And it's more than just the placebo effect of, okay, I'm doing this breath work and I feel warmer. They actually found that these monks and people who practice this type of inner fire meditation are able to increase their body temperature from the standard 97, 98 degrees all the way up to 101 degrees. And that's really significant, particularly if you're trying to make it in cold climates. We have a case study that relates pretty heavily to this that we'll talk about at the end of this here today too. Alrighty, and the final one I wanted to mention here is Inuit throat singing. Now, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce what it is technically called. I don't want to butcher it, but you might have seen some of these videos online. I know during COVID, they started circulating much more, but it's essentially this type of chanting and singing that uses the breath, it uses panting noises. It might even use kind of like animalistic noises as well. It's often done between 2 women or women and children. And it's also been described as almost like a game, right? And I like to include this when we think about, these more traditional applications of breath work, because breath isn't just about connecting with the self, right? It's not just about connecting with divinity, with energy, with the universe, whatever that may be for you. It can also be about connecting with others, right? And this is a very clear practice of how that is done. But no, even if for you, that's just focusing on your breath so you can calm down and be more present with someone else. There's just so many applications of breath work, and it's just, to me, endlessly fascinating, the different ways it can be a vehicle for connection with others. So to sum up, breath is a cleanser, the mind, the body, energy, your emotions, but it's also very much this gateway to your own spirit, your own soul, your own energy, also to something greater, to spirituality, to the universe, and also others, right? And one thing I find very fascinating about breath work, like we were talking about earlier, it's often the first step in a spiritual practice, right? Whenever we start our hypnotic meditations, that starts with breath. In yoga, right? Sometimes a yoga class starts with deep breathing. Meditation start with deep breathing. But for many people, breath work is the practice itself, right? It's not meant to be a starter. It's simply focusing on the breath. That is the spiritual practice. That is what connects them. So that's our breath and energy component. Before I move on, does anyone have any questions on that? To hear. All righty. Let's go in and talk a bit about breath and the nervous system. Now, this is going to be reminiscent of our series from last year on hypnosis and stress and the nervous system and all that good stuff. So I'm going to keep it on the briefer side. But within the nervous system, we have this division called the autonomic nervous system. I always say it's improperly named. They should have just called it the automatic nervous system. That would have been much simpler, because it basically controls all of our automatic functions, our involuntary functions, the things we don't think about doing, right? We don't think about, we don't tell our heart to beat. We don't tell our body to digest food, control our blood volume, things like that. Breath is interesting because it's the only involuntary function that you can actually control. You don't have to think about breathing day in and day out, but if you want, you can change the rate of breath. You can't do that with your heart rate. You can't do that with digestion, blood volume, etc. You can do indirect things to impact them over time, but you can't moment to moment directly impact them as you can with breath rate. Now, this gets really interesting when we think about the stress response. So if you remember, if you were here for last year's session series, when we get stressed out, something called the fight or flight response kicks in. This is with the sympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system. And this basically tells our body, hey, all systems go for fighting or fleeing. All the energy is sent to our muscles, our heart rate increases, our body gets put on edge, basically. And this is all good and fine if we're running from lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, but most of us are not zookeepers or living in, the woods of Montana. So we don't, have to deal with those things day in and day out. Instead, our stressors might be things like waiting on test results from the doctor, an upcoming chemo or radiation session, a fight with a partner, right? It can be these things where fighting or fleeing are not things that you can or would do, but your body still kicks in with this stress response anyways. Breath comes in here because breath is how we can turn off that fight or flight stress response and instead turn on the parasympathetic system. This is basically what controls our body's rest and digest, meaning it puts your energy back into the immune system, into digestion, into the day-to-day processes that your body does to stay healthy, to stay functioning well, doing everything it needs to do. So breath does something in particular. It stimulates something called the vagus nerve, okay? And you can think of the vagus nerve as the off switch for fight or flight and the on switch for rest and digest. The more we can keep our body in this parasympathetic rest and digest space, oftentimes the healthier we become because our body isn't on edge, ready to fight, so full of stress hormones all the time. So breath becomes this direct link. When we breathe deeply, when we slow our breath, this is the vagus nerve here in this mustardy kind of color. When we slow the breath, we're able to activate this nerve here. It goes into the lungs, across the diaphragm, and this will lead to a lower heart rate, decreased blood pressure, better digestion, pain management, better emotional stability, all of these really wonderful, beautiful things, okay? So that is your micro nervous system lesson. And I like to bring that up because it mirrors so much of what we already know from the spiritual and energetic side of things. Basically, breath helps your body calm down, and that helps you and your mental space get more calm as well. Before we move on, does anyone have any questions on this? Awesome. If you have questions as we go through, feel free to also drop them in the chat. So when we think about the overlaps between science and spirituality, in both realms, breath is this gateway. It's a gateway to calm, rest, and peace. On the science side, we see how breath activates the vagus nerve. It tells our stress response, hey, calm down, we're good, right? It's a signal to your body that you're safe and you're allowed to be calm, right? It helps your body go into healing mode, right? Rather than always being on edge, stressed, etc. On the spiritual side, we see this analog between breath and the soul, the human spirit. We also see how breath is this first step to connecting to oneself, to a higher power, to others even. We also see how breath alone, it doesn't have to be a first step in itself, it's a practice. And in all of these cases, breath, again, is this gateway to calm, peace, rest, and connection. And this is a bit of a floaty, abstract question, but it's something I'd like for you to take with you and just reflect on in the days and weeks to come. But, being calm for the sake of being calm is great, right? Being able to calm down for the sake of it is great. But I also want you to start thinking about, who do you get to become when you can calm down through breath work, when you become more peaceful, right? Who are you when you're stressed and you're overwhelmed and there's a million things running around in your head, versus who are you when you're in a more calm, rested, internally connected kind of space, right? And I think sometimes when we can think about these things on a broader scale, rather than just like, oh, I'm stressed and I want to calm down, and taking it into, who do I really want to be in this life? How do I want to spend my days? Do I want to spend my days feeling overwhelmed and feeling stressed? Or do I want to really maybe use breath work or use any of the techniques we've talked about in this series to lean into that version of me that is more calm, secure, connected, and ultimately enjoying my life? So just be thinking of that. Who do you get to be when you are in a deeper sense of calm, peace, rest, and connection? So why breath work though? What does science say about it? Because you guys know I'm a science nerd. I love all this stuff. Well, the answer is it basically does all the good things that your body could ever need. It does so many beautiful things for your body. So it decreases stress and anxiety, like I've been harping on throughout this whole session. It can improve sleep quality. Like someone had mentioned in the chat, they use breath to help them fall asleep. Also reduces blood pressure, improves lung function, especially for those with asthma, COPD, other respiratory issues. Boost mental clarity, can help with PTSD, depression so much, and can reduce pain and boost mindfulness. So they've done a lot of research on breath work, and it can do so many good things for you. And that's why I wanted to share this here. So now we're going to get, first we have a fun little case study. So has anyone heard of Wim Hof before? He has gotten more popular over the years. Anyone? Maybe not. Well, Wim Hof, also known as the Iceman, is a Dutch man who has truly mastered breath work. And through his mastery of breath work and specific breathing techniques, he has been able to break over, I believe, 21 Guinness World Records. Some of them are listed here. For instance, running a half marathon in the Arctic Circle barefoot, wearing only shorts, swimming underneath ice for 66 meters, running a full marathon in the Namibian desert without drinking any water. These crazy feats he's been able to do by mastering his breath. And if you're curious, he has a very specific breath work technique that takes a very long time. We would not be able to do it here together. But it's through these different techniques, which are actually very reminiscent of the Tummo inner fire techniques that we discussed earlier, that he's been able to do all of these things. And so, when we think about breath as a gateway, it's also this gateway in a very physiological way between our autonomic systems, our involuntary functions, and our voluntary ones. The breath work is the way that we're able to exert more control over our bodies and do really incredible things like this, or simply, calm down our body, decrease our heart rate, withstand a cold shower, whatever that may be. So Wim Hof is extremely interesting. If you are interested in breath work, I highly recommend you're reading about these crazy things that he's done that I personally would never even think about attempting, but I think is very fun to learn about. So that's Wim Hof. Alrighty, and now we're going to get into some of the different breathwork types. So these are going to be simple breathing techniques you can use in your day-to-day life. For each one, I'm going to go through what the breathing technique is, how and when you would use it, and then we're going to take about a minute for each just to practice it together, okay? And if you have any questions as we go through, you're more than welcome to share. So the first one we have is belly breathing. Now, if you've ever heard anyone talk about diaphragmatic breathing, this is actually what they're referring to. Diaphragmatic breathing, calling it that, is a bit of a misnomer because you're always using your diaphragm, no matter how you decide to breathe. It moves every time you breathe, no matter what. So instead, we'll call it belly or abdominal breathing because it's a bit clearer. So essentially, to do belly breathing, you'll sit comfortably, or you can also do this if you're, in the car, on the subway, in a cab, walking around, right? And if you'd like, you can put a hand on the heart and on your stomach. When you inhale, you'll focus on filling your stomach, almost like your stomach's a balloon that you're inflating and expanding your diaphragm. If you'd like, you can hold it for a moment, and then you'll exhale deeply, using your stomach muscles to fully release any air. Now, belly breathing is really great for when you're in public and you're looking for something that can tether you into a deeper sense of calm and peace. So that might be if you are waiting at the doctor's office, you're getting your blood pressure taken, right? Or other vitals. I know a lot of people who get that kind of like white coat syndrome, and just in that moment of getting their vitals taken, their blood pressure spikes, but the rest of the time it's more or less fine, right? This is something you can do before or during that to help you stay at a deeper sense of calm. During chemo, during radiation, before procedures, right? Anything like that where you're just looking for a tether to keep you in a more calm, or even just put your attention elsewhere, this can be very helpful. So does anyone have any questions about how you do belly breathing before we try it out? No? Awesome. So let's just do 3 rounds of belly breathing together. You don't have to close your eyes or anything. You can go ahead and place a hand on your heart. Definitely put one on your stomach. And on your next inhale, I'd like you to focus on filling your stomach, almost like it's a balloon that you're filling up with air. Good. And on the exhale, just releasing all the air from your stomach. You can even use your stomach muscles to release any of that extra air. Good. And again, inhale, focusing on filling your stomach. Feel your hand going outwards. And exhale, just exhaling deeply, using your stomach muscles to fully release any air. And one more round, inhaling, focusing on inhaling air entering your stomach, and exhaling, collapsing your stomach, contracting your diaphragm, fully releasing any air. Great. Anyone have any questions on that? Great. So again,
yeah. I think it was very helpful when I looked down, because I thought I was filling my stomach, and I actually was filling my chest more than my stomach. So how do you actually kind of focus on the stomach as opposed to the kind of chest lung area?
Yeah, that's definitely why I recommend putting a hand on your stomach, because then, and if you have one on your heart too, you can kind of feel the difference. So it's almost like if you focus on, let's see if I can kind of move this down. If you focus on the muscles here in your rib cage, that's going to be more chest breathing, right? But if instead you focus on really sending that air all the way downwards into your stomach, inhaling, pretending like your stomach's a balloon that you're inflating with air, exhaling, deflating that balloon, that can be helpful, because chest breathing it's not like a bad thing. It's not that you're not supposed to do chest breathing, but it can be more helpful to lean into belly breathing when you're looking to slow your breath because it better activates the vagus nerve that we talked about. It's leads you to take deeper breaths. Chest breathing can often be more shallow breathing. And it expands and contracts the diaphragm further and strengthens that muscle as well. So is that helpful, Rachel? Does that answer your question? Awesome. Yeah.
So when you say stomach, do you mean like lower abdomen or actual stomach? I'm not sure if that's the right area.
You can think of it as just like the overall abdominal area. You could think of it as kind of like, for some people, it's helpful to think of it as the breath going to the bottom of their stomach and coming upwards. So kind of starting at the lower stomach and leading up through the abdominal area, and then feeling that bottom of their rib cage, their diaphragm expand a little bit, and then kind of going in the reverse order. So kind of like bottom up and top down. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Great. Let's go to the next one. All righty. Next up, we have, oops, my slide wants to go. Okay, cool. Next up, we have box breathing. Okay. So this is also known as counted breathing. And this is how we've always started our hypnotic meditations. So some people really like this because you're essentially just counting your breaths, counting for an inhale of 4, holding that at the top for 2, and exhaling for 6. Some people use different counts. They inhale for 6, hold for 4, exhale for 8, right? Keep it simple with 4, 2, 6. But just know there's a lot of variations of this, and you're more than welcome to play with what works for you. The main thing you want to be doing is exhaling longer than you inhale. That's really where we're able to slow the heart rate, stimulate the vagus nerve, and get the benefits of breath work that we're looking for. Now, this is going to be useful in similar situations as belly breathing. So when you're in public and you're looking for something to calm you down, honestly, box breathing is my go-to because it just helps me focus more when I have to count out my breaths. So again, in those same situations, doctor's offices, blood pressure vitals, things like that. Alrighty, so now we're going to try just a few rounds of box breathing, just like we did before. Again, just get comfortable. If you want, you can put a hand on your heart and your stomach. I like to feel my heartbeat as I focus on my breath, but it's not a requirement. And when you do this breath, you can focus on sending it into your stomach if you want to practice that, focusing on filling your abdominal rather than your chest cavity, but it's not a requirement. If you prefer a deep chest breath, you can do that, and that's totally okay too. Alrighty. So we're going to do a few rounds. So on your next inhale, I'd like for you to inhale for a count of 4. Hold it for 2. And exhale for 6. Good. And again, inhale for 4. Hold for 2. And exhale for 6. Fully releasing any air, your stomach or your chest. One last time, inhale for 4. Hold for 2. And exhale for 6. Just using your stomach or your chest muscles to fully release any air. Good, good. And that one's really simple. I use it all the time. I use it if I'm stressed out at like a family dinner. I don't know. It is my favorite go-to thing because no one has to know that you're focusing on your breath, but you can do it on your own time. Does anyone have any questions on box or counted breathing? Cool. Yeah, pretty simple. Great. So our next one is breathing with a body scan. Okay. So this essentially, you can choose box breathing, you can choose belly breathing, or you can just slow your breath, right? And just exhale longer than you inhale if you just prefer to do that. Really, any of that works. So you just start by slowing your breath. And with each breath, you focus on a new part of your body to relax, right? So you'll start in your head muscles, relaxing all the little muscles in your face, move down to your arms, your shoulders, etc. And you get to make this as fast or as slow as you'd like. Now, this is going to be reminiscent of how we start a lot of our hypnotic meditations. In that case, it's a little bit more involved. It's also called progressive muscular relaxation. Body scan is a simpler term for it. Scanning through your body, relaxing different muscle groups with each exhale, essentially. Now, something like a body scan is going to be really great in moments when you can focus more deeply on the meditative, calm state that you get from breath work. So if you're getting an MRI and you're sitting there for minutes and minutes and minutes on end, and you want to kind of relax yourself, give your mind something to focus on other than, the kind of whirring noise of being in an MRI machine, this would be a great time to do a body scan. If you have trouble sleeping, if you wake up in the middle of the night and can't fall back to sleep, this is a great way to signal to your body, hey, it's relaxation hour. Let's calm down. Let's get back into sleep, right? And also the days leading up to test results. Now, when we're stressed, we hold a lot of this tension in our body, right? And we sometimes don't notice it, right? If you're someone who clenches your jaw a lot, you might find yourself in the middle of the day like, oh my gosh, I've been holding my jaw so tight. I know for me, sometimes I'll be in the middle of work and be like, wait, why are my shoulders at my ears, right? And so body scanning can be really helpful to just tap into, where am I holding tension? Let me go ahead and relax it. And really the main thing here is exhaling longer than you inhale. On the inhale, noticing where you're holding the tension, and on the exhale, releasing that tension, letting the muscles go, lax and slack. Does anyone have any questions on that before we try it out? Okay. Awesome. So for this one, go ahead and get comfortable. If you'd like, you can go ahead and close your eyes. And when you're ready, eyes closed, just start by slowing your breath, taking a deep inhale and a long, slow exhale. Good, good. On the next inhale, I want you to notice the muscles in your face. On your next exhale, just relaxing any of those muscles, unclenching your jaw, fully releasing the tension. Good. On your next inhale, just noticing the muscles in your shoulders and your arms. On the exhale, releasing any tension, letting your shoulders slump, releasing your arms and relaxing them. On the next inhale, noticing your back muscles, feeling what might be tight, and just releasing them, relaxing them, sinking a bit on the exhale. Good. Next inhale, noticing your stomach muscles, any abdominal muscles that may be tight right now, and relaxing them on the exhale. Good. And finally, noticing any tension in your thighs, calves, or feet, and just relaxing them on the exhale. Good, good. Very good. That's a very, very quick body scan. Now, when I do this in hypnosis, we do this normally at the beginning of our hypnotic meditations, and it will take anywhere from 4 to 8 minutes to do that. I'm giving you guys speedball version of these different breathwork techniques, but I want you to feel empowered to do them on your own time and understand how you can do so. If you find it hard to notice where to release tension, a great thing to focus on is, a great thing to do is on the inhale, you can actually tense your muscles, and then on the exhale, release the tension. So that can be really helpful for people to get even more relaxed with this. All righty. And the final one is visualization. And this you can, again, combine different techniques. So choose a breathing technique or simply just slow your breath. And with each breath, you get to be creative, right? You can cycle back to our first session and imagine the chakras, breathing through each chakra and finding a sense of balance and connection there. A lot of times with clients, I'll teach them to visualize a flower blooming and contracting and blooming and contracting with each breath, closing their eyes and seeing this in their mind's eye. You might want to see a colorful energy flowing through your body, like we started out with today, right? Feeling that relax the different parts of your body, combining that with a body scan. I said all this to say, much like I've been harping on this whole session, breathwork gets to be this gateway, right? And it can be a gateway to creativity, to experimentation, to all of these different things that you can create in your own mind, in your own mind's eye, to feel more and more relaxed. And now visualization can be really helpful in an MRI, same things with body scan. When you're able to get a bit more relaxed and tapped into the meditation, you don't have to be alert for other people. But I have had a number of clients, particularly those who have anxiety around the doctor's office, getting blood pressure taken, use visualization and like imagining themselves in a relaxing scene when they get their blood pressure taken, for instance. And they found that actually helps their measures a lot. So you can use it in so many different ways. Visualization is one of my favorite things ever. So those are the 4 breathing techniques we're going to cover. I'm not going to do a run through of visualization with you guys because we kind of did that at the beginning, in our hypnotic meditation, as you know, is mostly visualization. But I do want to pause here on these breathing techniques. Does anyone have any questions? All righty.
I'm actually wondering, Emma,
Yeah.
are there any resources if people kind of relate to one as opposed to the other? And this might be in your, in your guide that you're creating, but I know, for example, there's a lot of stuff on YouTube and, and things like that. Do you have any kind of favorite resources if you say, oh, you know what, I really like box breathing and I want to use it specifically for sleep or something like that, that you can point us to?
Yeah, that brings us into our next slide, or this is just a summary. I basically just shared all of that. In the summary sheet, I do go through each of these and how you can do them on your own time. Really the best first place to start, YouTube has every kind of breathing technique you could ever want to learn. I can link a few in there. I put a bonus technique. We're not going to cover it today. It's called bee breathing. And you make like a humming noise and it's a lot of fun. It's very vibrant, it kind of tickles your lips. But I linked a YouTube video for how you can do that within the guide. And yeah, there's some like Calm and Headspace have some free meditations online that can be pretty good. Progressive neuromuscular relaxation. I will link I can link one in the guide for you guys. From one of my recordings that I think you guys could benefit from, and that will be great for sleep and things like that. But honestly, I would say first stop is going to be YouTube. Calm and Headspace do have a lot of really great ones as a starting point. So yeah.
Do you have a YouTube channel, or maybe?
No, I know. I'm like, I wish I could be better plugging myself basically, but no, video editing takes 3 years. Unfortunately, takes so much time to do. I tried to start a YouTube channel once, but couldn't stick with it. But I can link this. I do have a library of hypnotic meditations that I can link you guys to. It is like a membership kind of thing, but I can include that. And that includes over 40 different hypnotic meditations, very similar to what we do in each of these sessions. And there are breathwork techniques in there and things like this. So I'll include that. I'll add that to the guide later on today. But I just shared the link to this in the chat.
I'm going to say if anyone, yes, because if that's a little challenging, anyone can email woman-to-woman@mountsinai.org, and I can send it to you. And we will attach this to all 3 of the sessions. I'll have our video recorder, our editor, attach this link to the end of the sessions.
Great. Yeah, and it's just one document covering everything, all the practical tools we talked about from these 3 sessions, okay? So yeah, any questions on breath work? Fabulous questions, Rachel. I'll link a few more YouTube videos in the doc for y'all as well. Any other questions? Cool. Well, guys, today was we started a little bit later and it was chock full of a lot of information. So we do still have a hypnotic meditation. I like to always end this way with you guys. And we are going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to combine a lot of what we've been talking about these past 3 weeks in today's session. But if you haven't been here for one of our hypnosis portions before, hypnotic meditations, just a few things to be aware of. When you get into this relaxed state, hypnosis is really just like a deep guided meditation. Like meditation, you're just getting way more relaxed. It's so much fun. As you get into it, you might feel a sense of heaviness, almost like you're melting into relaxation. You might feel a sense of lightness, kind of like you're floating. Both are totally normal, very common in hypnosis and these hypnotic meditations. If I tell you to see a garden and you're like, no, I don't want to go to a garden. Instead, I want to go to the beach. Please feel free. This is your session. It's your imagination, your creativity. You are more than welcome to go and see where you would like to. And finally, if you need to shift at all through the session, if you need to scratch your nose, move around, you are more than welcome to. This is all about you getting as comfortable as possible. And, taking a minute to like itch your ear isn't just going to take you out of that relaxed, beautiful feeling. And if anything, it'll help you feel more relaxed. So, does anyone have any questions before we get started? Awesome. And this will run past 1 p.m. So if you have something to do right at 1, I would recommend just jumping off now and you can catch the recording later on. Okay. Awesome. Well, guys, go ahead and begin getting comfortable wherever you're sitting, wherever you're laying down. And when you're ready, go ahead and just close your eyes and we'll get started. Awesome. So we're just going to start with 3 deep, slow breaths. Good. So take a deep inhale in for 4. Hold it for 2. And exhale for 6. Good. And again, inhale for 4. Hold for 2. And exhale for 6. One more time. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. And exhale for 6. Good. Good. And we're about to embark on a co-creative journey using your vivid imagination. All you have to do is follow the sound of my voice and allow your mind's eye to follow the creative images that it brings forth. So to begin, we're just going to start by scanning through your body and visualizing your chakras. So I'd like you to start by imagining glowing red embers right at the root and the base of your spine. This is your root chakra. With each breath, you find yourself becoming more and more relaxed, more and at peace. Maybe as you connect with this space, you just feel your legs begin to relax. As you release any tension in your thighs, your knees, your calves, all the way to the bottoms of your feet as you connect this root chakra. Good. You just move up a bit in your body to your sacral chakra. Maybe you see an orange light glowing in your lower stomach and your abdomen. You just feel a sense of relaxation spreading through your hips, through your low stomach, relaxing any of your abdominal muscles. Good, good. And you move up another level, right to the middle of the bottom of your rib cage. And here it's almost like a glowing yellow sun, just blooming and blossoming out from the center of you. You feel any of your back muscles just relax and release. You feel your chest muscles just begin to feel a sense of peacefulness. Good. And you move up towards your heart space, towards your sternum. You feel a sense of relaxation spread through this place as you begin to notice a glowing, green, loving light right in your heart space. As this green just expands outwards and outwards, begin to feel a sense of relaxation mesh into your shoulders, You release tension from your forearm, your elbows, all the way out to the tips of your fingers, upper body feeling totally relaxed. Good. Next, you move up to your throat chakra. Maybe you see a light blue light right in the center of your throat. You relax your neck muscles. You unclench your jaw, feeling totally at peace, totally relaxed. Good. You move upwards, right to the space between your eyebrows. You see a glowing, deep blue, purple light. This is your third eye chakra. As you connect with this space, just relax your eyebrows, your eyes, your cheeks, your ears, all of the micro muscles in your face. Feel completely relaxed. Good. And finally, you send your energy to the crown of your head. You see what almost looks like an ultraviolet glowing crown right at the top of your head space. And this just sends a cascade of relaxation and peace all the way down your body. Tapped into each and every one of your chakras, feeling so relaxed, so at peace, and so calm here today. Good, good, fantastic. Now, I'd like you to visualize yourself in your dream garden. Maybe you just notice the bright greens and colors here. See what kind of flowers and foliage is around. Notice if maybe you see some birds in their nest in the distance, singing with young, tiny birds in their nests. Good. In this garden, under a bright blue sky, you notice a set of stone steps that go down to a different part of the garden. You feel instinctively called to this other part of the garden. So you decide to take these 7 steps down towards the garden. And in a few moments, I'm going to count from 7 to 1. With each count, you'll take another step, slowly going down these steps towards this other part of the garden, feeling more and more relaxed with each step you take. So 7, walking down the first stone step towards the garden. 6, feeling more and more relaxed, so at peace. 5, 4, just getting closer and closer, all the way down to 3, feeling so good. 2, and 1, entering this beautiful garden, feeling so completely and totally relaxed. Good. Your subconscious mind is now open and receptive to new, positive suggestions here today. As you drift deeper into this peaceful feeling of relaxation, go ahead and begin to notice more of the details of this garden. Maybe it's your own backyard. Maybe it's a garden of your dreams. You just begin to notice the details of the scene around you, seeing the bushes, the multicolored flowers, the trees, and the life all around you. Everything here makes you feel serene and at peace. You hear the singing of birds in the distance. Perhaps an orange butterfly flutters past you. You just notice its intricate beauty as it passes. And you're here today because you're ready to bring more peacefulness, health, and vitality into your life. In this garden, you see how life is all around you. Everything is blooming, growing, and teeming with energy. At a deep level, you realize that you are, too. In the corner of the garden, you notice a huge old tree. It's magnificent to look at. It has knotted roots that go wide and deep and a full green set of branches that extend endlessly into the sky. You feel instinctively drawn to this tree and walk over, feeling the soft ground under your feet as you do. You arrive at the tree and place your hands on its rough bark. You sense that the tree has been strong, even in the faces of storms, strong winds, and other challenges. In its age, it's gained wisdom and strength. As you connect with the tree, you feel that this strength begins to pour into you. You realize how, just like this tree, you have been resilient. You've overcome so much, yet you've stood proud and brave in the face of life's difficulties. You just take a moment to connect with this tree, allowing its energy to pour into you as I'm quiet for a moment. Good, good. And any time in the future that you feel unsettled, you'll remember this moment in this old wise tree, feeling completely calm and at peace again. And as you look at the tree, you notice that part of the roots knot together in a way that almost makes a chair right in the trunk. You decide to sit in this comfortable part of the roots and trunk, settling comfortably into the tree here. You feel comfortable and supported as you extend your legs and stretch out along the green ground and the roots. You see how the roots are going down and down into the earth. The soil nourishes them and gives them health, life, and vitality. You begin to imagine your own legs going down and down into the earth along with the roots, traveling through the layers of soil. Your legs and the roots just keep extending downwards until eventually they reach the core of the earth. In your mind's eye, you see this core as a bright, pulsing energy. You notice that it pulses with each beat of your heart. Here in this place, you feel in sync with Mother Earth, totally connected to your body, yourself, and the energy around you. And this bright, pulsing energy begins to move up through the roots, the layers of soil, and up through your legs. This is the healing, nourishing energy of the earth. It moves up through your legs into your abdomen, swirling around and bringing healing energy to your body. Notice how this makes you feel as you sink comfortably into the tree. Good, good. And at the same time, you begin to notice how the tree's branches extend ever upwards. The leaves bathe in radiant, warm sunlight, bringing energy from the universe and the cosmos down to nourish the tree as well. The sunlight travels from the green leaves to the branches to the trunk, traveling down and down through the trunk. It brings wisdom and vital energy to the tree, and eventually this golden light from the sun reaches the crown of your head. It enters at your crown chakra, filling your mind, head, chest, and whole upper body with this golden, radiant light from the sun. This golden energy travels down to your abdomen and swirls and mixes with the bright, pulsing light from the center of the earth. These wise, healing, calming energies mix, and you realize that here today, with the power of your breath, you can send these energies from the universe anywhere in your body. So first, you imagine this golden and bright light moving into your headspace. With each breath, it clarifies your mind, making you feel extremely at peace. Old anxieties feel like a thing of the past. You feel and see this energy almost cleaning your headspace, leaving you feeling clear, relaxed, and serene. Good, good. And now you send this energy anywhere in your body that needs it. Maybe your internal organs, maybe your heart, maybe your hands. Just trust wherever you feel called to send this healing, restorative energy. Brings healing and balance to your energy and physical body. Just take some time to connect with this energy now, watching it expand through your body with each breath and sending it wherever it needs to go. Good, good. And anytime in the future you feel a need to send balance, healing, and vitality to your mind or anywhere in your body, you can return to this visualization and this energy, just focusing on your breath and sending this calming energy from the universe wherever it needs to go. As you've been here today in this garden with this tree and these energies, you notice how strong and supported you feel. You feel how energy from Mother Earth and the universe is always with you. It's always in you, energizing you and bringing healing and balance to your body, especially in the areas that need it most. From this day forward, you feel more energized. You feel healthier with a deep well of vitality that only grows each day. And you know how to bring your body back to a sense of balance and peace. You know how to send this energy and peacefulness anywhere in your body that needs it. And as you go through your week, you start noticing positive shifts happening in your body. Even when you sleep, this positive energy continues to work within your body. When you wake up in the morning, you find yourself full of energy after a good night's sleep, ready to take on whatever the day has in store. And finally, you find this energy coming with you to places that may have caused stress in the past. When you do things like go to the doctor's office, await test results, doing anything related to your health, you find yourself becoming completely calm, knowing that this deep, wise energy is within you, supporting you at all times. Good. You feel this strong, vital energy growing in your body, mind, and spirit, getting stronger by the day, stronger by the hour, stronger by the minute. You live with more peace, calm, and trust that you can handle anything life throws at you. And in every way and every day, you find yourself becoming better and better. These suggestions are firmly embedded in your subconscious mind and will continue to grow from this day forward. Good. Do anything else you need with this tree in this calming space. Maybe thank the tree, give it an embrace after spending time here in this garden today. Good. When you're ready, you'll just return to the waking state. In a few moments, I'm going to count to 5, and at the count of 5, you'll open your eyes, feeling completely awake, alert, and ready to go back about your day. So 1, just tapping into your body. 2, maybe swaying a bit side to side. 3, wiggling your fingers and your toes. 4, just fluttering your eyelids. And 5, opening your eyes, feeling completely alert, awake, and refreshed. All righty. Just take your time coming back into the waking state. And as always, if anyone wants to share anything about that experience, please feel free. Alrighty. Here we go. Yeah, Janet, go ahead.
I felt like I was sleeping, but not really, like in a totally different zone. I sort of still feel like that. Really relaxing.
Yeah, it's this kind
it
of
feels good.
interesting, conscious, but not having to be totally conscious at the same time.
Yeah, I almost felt like I was going to fall out of my chair, but I didn't.
Glad your posture kept you up. Yeah, I know. That's actually funny you mentioned that. Whenever I do one-on-one sessions, people are always like, "Oh, can I like lay down?" I'm like, no, you will fall asleep. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Janet. Nancy, raise your hand.
Yeah, it's funny when you were saying, like, when you're grounded, in the bottom, and you're saying how the energy is coming from your feet and is coming up through your body. I felt that. Like, I really felt
Mm.
like the energy was wrapping around my legs and coming up to me. Like, I thought that
Mhm.
was great. I was like, oh my God, I feel it.
I love that. That is so cool. Yeah, it's really cool when you can start to actually like notice your energy in your body and send it places. It is a very
Yes.
hard thing to describe, or I guess to teach, if you will. But I'm really glad you had that experience, Nancy. That I hope that's something that you can like, remember and even practice in your own like meditations and things like that. That's fabulous.
When you said try to, transfer it to where you want it to help heal you, I've been having problems with my left eye. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
it's a little swollen, and I was like, oh, go to my eye, go to my eye. It's
There you
like-
go. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I know, the research on things like that with like actual healing is mixed, though. There are some really phenomenal stories of people who have healed things like paralysis. Like, it's truly wild what some people have been able to do with energy healing. But I know I mentioned in the beginning, for those who are here at the start, I have PCOS, so that I just get really, really bad cramps when I get my period. And 1 month I dedicated myself to visualizing my ovaries healing every day. And that month I actually did not have cramps, which was
Mm,
wild. I did not keep up with it though, so the cramp came back.
mm.
But it's just, the anecdotal stories of things like that are very interesting. And even if true, changes physically don't happen, it's very relaxing and calming. So anyways, yeah, thanks for sharing.
I find that it's interesting that you say that, Emma, because I suffer from a lot of stomach aches because of all the the plumbing that's been taken out of me and rewiring. And it happens a lot at night when I'm in bed. And I have been listening to a very similar type meditation like yours. And I'm able to, I'm most times to have it diminish.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It really is interesting.
Yeah. And, if we had more time, we could talk about like hypnosis for pain management is huge. And even if like the meditation you're not doing, a lot of times meditations use hypnotic techniques, but they just call it meditation. So there's a lot of stuff out there that is hypnosis. It's just not called hypnosis. But a lot of times, you said it's kind of similar. I wouldn't be surprised if they're using a lot of these similar techniques and, using them to help manage that pain and that discomfort. For instance, like when there's a whole side of hypnosis called like hypnobirthing, and people use hypnosis to get them through their epidurals. Some people will do natural births with just like hypnosis to manage the pain. My hypnotist that I saw and I was trained from used hypnosis for all of her births. And she described it as it felt like a lot of pressure than actual pain, which is just very fascinating. Anyway, so yeah, thank you for sharing that, Robin. That is really wonderful. And I'm really glad that you have that tool for you. That's fantastic. Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you guys for sharing. So appreciate it. So I always love hearing about your experiences. And to sum up today, you're leaving with a deepened understanding of some of the spirituality and the science behind breath work. You have 4 simple breathing techniques that you can use in your day-to-day life. Again, those are all listed out with step-by-step directions on the guide that you can either get from me, you can type in the link, etc. And you have this experience. And I know I often use that imagery of the healing old tree with people who, like with my one-on-one clients who have anything related to health, and that's visuals. That's a visualization they'll often use at the doctor's office, waiting for test results and really using it in their day-to-day life. So if you resonated with it, please feel free to use it, return to this recording in the future, anything like that.
Thank you so much, Emma.
Yeah.
You're the best.
Oh,
Thanks.
you're the best. You're
Yes,
so
thank you.
You guys are
We
so
hope you do
much.
this again.
Yeah,
Definitely.
hopefully I'll be back soon. If you guys ever have any questions, you can always reach out to me via email. My email is right here. Rachel also has my email. And thank you guys for being here. I so appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And hopefully we'll see each other again soon.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care.